Hey everybody, this is Jeremy Williams with our discussion board post, and I'm going to focus on the Scopes trial, the feud between modernism and fundamentalism. I chose this because I teach it in American history, and I just find it fascinating, all the little details of the trial and how ironic a lot of it is, in a sense. But let's get to the background of the trial. So in 1925, the General Assembly of Tennessee passed Public Law 185, the anti-evolution, or the monkey law, as it was called sometimes, which made teaching evolution illegal. Right, the law was also called the Butler Law the because of who proposed it. His name was Butler. The law will pass with little opposition. Um, Hardly anybody opposed this law. I mean, nobody came out publicly against it. There were some in the liberal clergy that had some things to say, but in the grand scheme of things, the law passed pretty easily. When it comes to the trial, or where does this trial even come from? John Scopes, he was a high school teacher. He was charged with teaching the controversial theory of evolution. Now, when the law passed, the ACLU took a stance and said that they would hire lawyers to represent anybody who did teach evolution. So when Scopes was charged with teaching evolution, the ACLU is going to get involved, and they're going to make this a really big deal. Right? Clarence Darrow will eventually become the defense attorney for Scopes. Now, Darrow, prominent lawyer, he's agnostic. He it takes this on because this trial to him is bigger than the intent of guilt, or whether or not, or finding whether or not Scopes was guilty of committing a crime. Right? He is going to say that Scopes isn't on trial, civilization is on trial. Um, Darrow's going to absorb the mechanistic thinking and modernist notions of the age. He does that through reading works by Charles Darwin, and other prominent modernist authors and theorists of the day. Now, the prosecuting attorney is William Jennings Bryan. He was a fundamentalist. He thought evolutionary theory contradicted the Bible. He feared the consequences of an unfettered social Darwinism, um, especially on like women's rights and women's suffrage. Again, was a prosecutor for the trial, and he claimed that the contest between evolution and Christianity is a duel to the death. And this was cited, from the New York Times. Um, this trial becomes huge. I mean, newspaper outlets from across the country are going to cover the Scopes trial, mostly because of who's involved. You have William Jennings Bryan. He was a three-time presidential candidate. And then on the other side, you have Clarence Darrow, one of the greatest lawyers of the time. And those two are going to battle in the courtroom. I mean, they are going to throw different theories at each other. I mean, Darrow's even going to go as far as to putting Bryan on the stand and asking him questions about the Bible and hoping that Bryan would slip up. But when it's all said and done, the trial ends and Scopes was found guilty. He'd be fined $100. But on the grand scheme of things, the trial was completely centered on the fundamentalist modernist controversy of the day. The issue of guilt was never in question. I mean, he taught evolution, he violated the Butler law, guilty. Right? But the trial was huge. Again, it was broadcasted on the radio. Newspaper outlets across the country are going to write about it. Everybody's going to know about the modernist fundamentalist controversy. Eventually, Scopes' conviction will be overturned by the Tennessee Supreme Court. They'll also uphold the constitutionality of the Butler Law. So, you know, what this does is it kind of allows or sets a precedent for other states. Other states, especially in the South, are going to have laws that prohibit the teaching of evolution, and those laws extended for a significant amount of time. I mean, dozens of years. Um, but this isn't something that's gone away. I mean, evolution is still a controversial topic today. It's one that parents can opt out of their children from learning it in schools. Um, just interesting how a trial became the center of the modernist and fundamentalist controversy of the day. Thank you for your time.